it's Red Eye. It's like Dawson's Creek, only that's not water. Hey, I thought it was... We're here with the lovely Courtney Friel, the face of FoxNews.com and Fox Entertainment correspondent. On remote, we've got Professor Marc Lamont Hill, Assistant Professor of Urban Education at Temple University. Good to see you, Professor Hill. Looking marvelous as usual.
Oh, you too, Greg.
Oh, well, thank you. Later, after the show. And stand-up comedian Lee Camp is here. Lee, marvelous to have you here.
How you doing, Greg?
You're a virgin. Lindsay Lohan's dad spoke out in an interview, basically saying that the reason why Lindsay Lohan is having such a hard time in her life is that she's surrounded by bad influence. This is bad influence. This is part of it.
Wow, this looks like Paris Hilton's video.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Did I just hear Professor Marc Lamont Hill say, "Oh yeah"?
I was verifying that was in fact the video. You know, I've watched it 3 or 4 times today in preparation for the show.
It is
in preparation for the show.
Of course.
I'm diligent about these things.
That's what we have you on the show for. You're always prepared.
Greg, what I don't understand is she got rehab. She drugs in her pocket, car accident, goes to rehab. For anybody else, that's jail. Apparently, all you have to do to beat our justice system is star in Herbie Fully Loaded.
Yeah, it's true. So, do you think that's wrong? Do you think she should be paired with someone who's like a real hardened criminal who could teach her a few things?
Well, I think she could probably teach them a few things in prison, but I don't know. I think this is smart, man. You don't want a situation where Paris gets abused or beaten up. If Michael Jackson had gone to jail, they would have done that for him. You know, whenever there's somebody vulnerable, and Paris is certainly vulnerable, you have to protect them. So I'm happy to see this.
Lee, what would make the ideal cellmate for Paris?
Tinkerbell? I don't know. I don't even want to know how she's going to sneak Tinkerbell into the jail there.
Well, she's not allowed any electrical devices. That's cameras, cell phones.
Anything that vibrates?
Anything that vibrates.
Well, they're trying to give her a...
No way you're going to find a cellmate that's not going to cash in on this. I mean, some will be worse than others. But anybody who has the opportunity to write a book or tell a story on Paris is going to do it. And telling correctional officers that they can't snap pictures or they'll lose their job is ridiculous. If someone can make $200,000 taking a picture of Paris in a jumpsuit, they're going to get rid of that $30,000 a year correction job.
I think this jail thing sounds very fishy to me. I think it's a reality TV show. I don't think it's real at all. I think it's Paris Hilton goes to jail.
I think she should be James Randy Moss ended up getting oral sex from Barbie Cummings on the side of the road. There she is. Very attractive young woman.
Is that her real name?
That is, no, her real name is Justice. Oh. If you can believe that. Anyway, he tendered his letter of resignation. And I don't know, I got to go to Professor Hill. Isn't it a bit unfair because, you know, he got her off by throwing the pills into the bushes, and she got him off. And then she goes and talks about it on her blog. Now he's lost his job. There is something wrong here. Am I right, Professor Hill?
Well, there's a lot of stuff wrong with this. First of all, he shouldn't be allowed to resign. He should be terminated. Yeah. He basically exchanged drugs, throwing away drugs for sex. Now, a lot of cops throw away drugs. A lot of times you pull a kid over and he has a joint in his car and you just throw it in the trees. That's fine, but you can't barter sex for that type of favor. That's unreasonable. He should be terminated for that. But I also think it's weird that she would blog about it. I mean, if he did her that big of a favor, why is she blogging? Why is she snitching about this? I don't get it.
Did he ask her to blow into a breathalyzer and she just got confused?
It's a really bad line. It's attached to me, baby.
Yes. That's a new breakthrough in inebriation technology.
But this is things we have to think about.
That is true. I'm thinking about it now.
I like how they keep calling it a tryst. That's the best euphemism I've heard since the White House used the term enhanced interrogation techniques to describe torture.
I mean, yeah, well, how long does a tryst have to be a tryst in order for it to be a tryst?
As the protest grows, and there's more rioting, tear gas.
I like Geraldo.
Oh, do I? Thank you very much. I'll keep doing that. Anyway, he's threatened to crack down on another TV network, this one, Globovision, which he called the enemy of the state. Now, what are you laughing at? All right, Courtney, is it a big surprise that this is happening with a leftist dictator?
Well, I feel bad for Adam Housley, our correspondent, who's down there. You can read his blog's on our website, FoxNews.com.
I love the way
I keep promoting it.
You pay to go to places where people throw things at you.
Yes, Professor? Or was it Lee? I can't see. I'm being thrown at.
Let me just say this. I think, first of all, I wouldn't call Chavez a dictator. He was democratically elected. But the issue here is this. I mean, you guys may disagree, but the issue here is he refused to renew the license of a television station that supported a military coup against the president. If this were the United States and a network aided and abetted the kidnapping and the imprisonment of the United States president and the sabotage of the government, we wouldn't renew their license either. In fact, we throw them in jail. So I don't understand why there's this controversy over him wanting to get rid of a network that has tried to overthrow the government.
Professor, you always try to introduce facts into this show, and I assure you it will not work.
You know?
Black people could vote in Ohio, so it would have been a win, really.
They can't vote in Ohio?
They weren't allowed to last time. Black people in Ohio, start collecting licenses, IDs right now.
None of those facts. We're not allowed facts.
No, we're not allowed
that's not
facts.
true.
Sorry.
You people probably believe 9/11 was like orchestrated by Martians.
Okay, Rosie.
In Melbourne, Australia. Did I say that correctly? Gay bar?
Sounded good.
Oh, that was such a bad joke. Bad joke. Anyway, a gay bar in Melbourne, Australia now has the right to ban straight guys and even lesbians. The Peel Hotel owners claim it will prevent insults and violence, and also the fact that sometimes straight people go to gay bars and treat gays like animals in a zoo. Your mouth is opening. You want to say something.
I love gay bars. What are the straight girls, gonna do? We love our gays. We love dancing with our gays.
I'm not a fan of gay bars because every time I go there, I end up with a guy. Go ahead. Go, Professor. No, I'm just joking. Happily
That's actually how we
man.
met, Greg.
What?
That's actually how Greg and I met. No, we're going to, we have to think.
Oh, God.
We have to think about this. So, you know, I've attempted to go to lesbian bars before, and I remember being told, for research, and I remember being told that I wasn't allowed in because they were worried about it being a spectacle. They were worried about, you know, straight men coming in and trying to sort of stop people having their fun. And when it comes to, you know, forms of abuse, homophobia, violence against gays, I think sometimes you have to have these protections. And I don't think it's the same thing as if a straight bar didn't let gay people in, because straight people have all the bars, or they have all the clubs, you know?
Well, so basically what you're talking about is as long as a minority is acting in a discriminating way, it's okay. But if the majority is discriminating, then it's wrong. Did I get that correctly?
Not quite, because I'm saying discrimination requires a certain amount of power, and I'm saying, you know, gay bars don't necessarily have that type of social power. They're doing that to protect themselves from people who have the power.
I got to tell you, Professor Hill, while you're talking, the chyron below you says "gay men only." This is just not going to. Anyway,
this isn't going to go well in my dating life.
Lee, do you agree with the policy?
I just want to know how they card.
Yay! We're 30 minutes into the show. You know what time it is? It's time for Andy to tell us what we've done wrong. I tend to repeat myself.
Mm-hmm. It was that fat girl picture, I think.
Go, Andy.
It's going to be one of these, huh? Okay. Lindsay Lohan, oh, Greg, I love how you said I don't care about the facts anymore, like you ever did. Paris Hilton, Courtney says prison authorities have found a cellmate for Paris who won't cash in on the situation. I'm assuming she's a deaf-mute quadriplegic with severe cataracts.
We'll see.
Yeah, she won't.
He's so proud of that.
I really am. Trooper who had oral sex with a porn star allowed to resign. Professor Hill says he doesn't think the trooper should have been allowed to resign. So, Professor, if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is you think the trooper got off twice.
Exactly. It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Cool. By the way, those happy pills the trooper threw in the bush, anyone know what happened to those? Or where those bushes are?
I could show you.
Would you please?
Yes, later. My
Thank
place.
you. On your yacht?
On my yacht.
Hugo Chavez threatens another Venezuelan TV network. Globovision's news director Alberto Ravel says he will not be intimidated. Ravel will soon be survived by his wife and 2 kids. If Chavez is in a generous mood. Professor Hill says all Chavez did was shut down a station that was advocating the overthrow of a democratically elected government, and that we would never stand for that in the U.S. You've never watched PBS, have you, Professor?
Actually, no. What's that?
And fat inmates are now getting personal trainers to help them prevent bullying, because the guys that don't work out enough don't want to go to the gym or outside because they'll get beaten up. So they're bringing these personal trainers in to get them in shape. It costs like $800,000. The critics say it's ludicrous, but I have a feeling that Professor Hill thinks it's a great idea.
Wow, that's very good. I actually do.
I knew it.
No,
I knew it. Because you like to
I don't know if
cuddle
it's a great
those criminals.
I do. I mean, I don't like to coddle them. I just want them to die.
Yes.
You know, too often in the United States and in Britain, we've turned a blind eye to the abuses that go on in prison, as far as rape, as far as bullying, as far as people getting beat up, stabbed, etc. I think personal trainers might be a little over the top, but I'm all for having places where people who are overweight cannot die of heart disease and other things while they're in prison. I mean, can you imagine going to the worst, nastiest, most violent prison and dying of diabetes?
That would suck.
You should. Yeah, it would suck. I mean,
suck.
so. Yeah, at least get shanked or something, right?
Yes,
So,
you can't. Yeah, you
right,
can't.
so,